Hello everyone. So let's continue with our smart cities course. So today, if you see here, I will be talking about what are the different components of smart city. We had introduced some aspects of the smart city in the previous lectures. So if you see here, smart infrastructure, like definition wise, now we have seen that anything physical, electrical or digital, that is the backbone of the smart city, as we considered in any part of the infrastructure. So we have at least like three different layers here. One is like physical infrastructure, which means like we have roads, we have buildings which are connected, we have bridges and some other utilities like water supply system, and all these things comes under physical infrastructure, which is actually basic foundation. And then we have ICT infrastructure, where we need to have a communication network like fiber optics, Wi-Fi hotspots. You might have seen in some of the smart cities like free Wi-Fi that city development authority are providing. So and this adds actually connectivity, digital connectivity. And then the service infrastructure like mass rapid transit, like we have metros and all that, and smart grids and integrated systems, which also includes. So this delivers services using both physical and digital infrastructure. Then this smart infrastructure, it differs from, we know that traditional infrastructure, which is being more efficient for safety and secure and fault tolerant. Like you have a pipeline, water pipeline, if it is integrated along with ICT and physical infrastructure in the smart city network. So what if there is a pipe water leaking or pipe burst happen, so there is a lot of wastage of the water that can be detected remotely by the concerned water distribution authority, and they can take care of it, right? So this is kind of the advantage we can have. In traditional infrastructure, it operates independently. We know that, like roads are separate from electricity grid, which is separate from the water system, etc., etc. So smart infrastructure, it integrates these systems, vehicle information, like feeds into traffic management. We know that driverless autonomous vehicles are coming up by couple of companies. So how is it managing, like how it will do it? Because it coordinates with the public transport, and which shares data with in immediate real time with emergency services. So this integration creates a kind of nervous system, I can say, which is enabling that urban intelligence, right? So what are the different core infrastructure elements? Like we have seen that, which firstly, like we should have sufficient or adequate water supply, like 24/7 availability, rather than something like water is available. We know that some of the our water stress in some of the urban areas like Hyderabad, Bangalore, especially in summer regions, like there is a rationed supply, right? So this requires, it's not like we don't have water, we have enough water, but that distribution, managing this system is something which we have to take care. So this requires smart water management system, which is very easy. Like we developed a couple of years back AquaSense project, which I will be explaining you when I took this in, where the system, we have a sensors in the pipe network, and it can detect leakage and also some quality parameters. Okay, basic quality parameters of water quality parameters can be verified, which can give automated purification or equitable distribution also, because quantity and quality of water can be taken care in the or monitored in the water distribution system. Secondly, like electricity supply also, like we should have uninterrupted power at affordable rates. Okay, the cost of the electricity charges should not be too high also in a country with so much of requirement. So smart grids manage the demand, they integrate with renewable energy like solar and wind. What we right now government of India is doing extensively on that renewable energy, so that we can prevent waste also. So the third important thing is like sanitation, where which includes solid waste management and treating waste as resource, like waste mining is something which people are working on now, and composting organics, recycling materials, etc. Where I know that flowers from temples have been reused for making some agarbattis and other things. And fourth is like efficient urban mobility and public transportation. We don't need to spend 2 hours in commuting to your offices, and it is nothing it's like waste of resources, like buses, metros, pedestrian infrastructure, if it's integrated for seamless travel, so that is very, very effective. And then next one is like affordable housing. Because of such a large country like us, like with a growing population, affordable housing, especially for the lower income people, so is something which we have to take care. And robust IT connectivity, the digital backbone, then good governance, especially the e-governance, like services accessible digitally, and then sustainable environment like green spaces, green patches, parks, pollution control, because we know how Delhi has been suffering for the pollution, because it also impact not only public health, economic health of the particular city also. And educational services, like it should be accessible and affordable to everyone. Safety, security, particularly for vulnerable population, especially women, children and elderly, because whatever we do it, finally every section of the people should be safe and secure. And these 10 elements, if you see, if you work together, then we can make a holistic development of the in the smart city concept. So here are some of the critical insights, like the ICT infrastructure, which is here is the core smart component of a smart city, and this glues together with the other components, especially which is acting as a nerve center, which I said, like as a like nervous system. And like you think about brain, right? It receives the signals from senses, like somebody touch or you see something or smell something, whatever it is, and it processes the information and sends the commands to your body back, right? This is how we know how the nervous system works. Similarly, the ICT infrastructure also does this for a urban center, like or a city. So it includes communication infrastructure, like as I said, fiber optics, Wi-Fi networks or wireless hotspots, whatever. Service oriented information systems, where like cloud computing, data centers, they provide computing capacity and in real time. And then like we have middleware, like software, like where data integration platforms, data analytics and all that process the information. Together these things will enable real-time monitoring of a city system. I was last week I was in China, so traveling, and I have seen the 3D maps, how it has been integrated into the cars. They are all electric cars and all. So it's like a autonomous, like the driver no need to worry, and it's automatically parking that place, and if there is anything object or vehicle coming nearby, it's taking the decision in real time. So that's what is actually smart system, right? So in real time, so that's most critical, because data analysis identify the problem and also the opportunities, like, and this automated response to something like a predictable situations, like somebody just crossed it or some such kind of things can happen, right, in a physical infrastructure. So this thing, the technology what we have to develop it, so should has to take a decision in real time. So let's start with something, because I started with the transportation system. So how the transportation or the intelligent transportation systems, okay, ITS, and what are the different components of it. So if you see here, that the first one is like vehicle communication. That means allowing car to car or car to infrastructure communication. So that means like a multi communications, like there are traffic signals, there are a lot of cameras, and you will be, when you are on the road, like you will be identifying, there are like numbers for these traffic signals or red lights, they have a particular number, and from your origin to destination, that path, how many things are there now, what is the waiting time there, and everything in real time. You can take a decision also if you want to change the route, if you want to go little faster, whatever it is, okay. So that means there should be communication between the car to infrastructure. Here I mean to infrastructure is like that, that signal poles or like roads, etc. So we should have that thing. And next, the second important thing is multimodal integration, coordinating other things like rail, we have like water, air transport, okay. So planning seamless trips across multiple transport modes. You might have seen in the Google map also, like it will give you an option, like from origin to destination, if you want by taxi, by train, by bus, and something like it gives multiple transport modes. So real time data processing, optimizing traffic flow, and then enabling this route planning and safety systems which like collision avoidance and anti-skidding sensors. So we know if some in automobile industry lot of work is been happening. So benefits in this one include global airway hubs like connecting to intercity railway networks. Now country to country connectivity people are working it out, right? Like a lot of things are coping around, not just all the European countries are connected, now Asian countries are also, people are working on like from Shanghai to Singapore, or like something like that, or Indonesia. So people are making lot of multi intercity networks, railway networks, and then protected cycle routes, pedestrian paths, cost effective and reliable transportation systems. So technology examples, it includes like RFID, toll collection. We are seeing that like how the toll collection is happening now, eliminating this toll booths, automatic passport control at airports like DigiYatra. We know that smart mobile apps for taxi booking, which we have been using it with real-time tracking this traffic management system and detecting almost the speed violations, integrated public transport with coordinated schedules. Smart transportation is not just about the technology, it's actually technology enabling user centered mobility. So and that also it should be safe, efficient and sustainable. So that is what is called intelligent transport system. Now like if you look at the energy aspects, like in smart energy concept, okay, the concept of internet of energy, and it has like 4 blocks. One is like low carbon generation, like we need to include solar or any renewable energies like wind, lot of wind, offshore wind farms are coming up in the country, biogas, geothermal sources which are shifting from fossil fuels, right? So like lot of sustainability in energy thing is coming up. And then the second one is like efficient distribution. It uses smart grids with smart meters and also ICT integration, and then which can optimize this flow, electricity flow, and then optimize consumption involves energy storage, smart metering and demand management, right? Okay, with a lot of sensors inbuilt in the planning and of course in the construction of the infrastructure, so which will reduce this peak demand. And then integration combines traditional and renewable energy with ICT, creating the smart energy, which is a kind of a responsive system balancing supply and of course the demand part of it. So just look at this smart grid technology, so which is like here how efficiently it integrates the actions and behavior of all the connected users. If you see renewable energy, then they flow into the grid, and then consumer like smart consumption, and then again storage. So this is the complete flow of it, and it's all connected. So like users, consumers or generators, or whoever is like other people involved in this complete cycle. So it also features includes like economic efficiency with losses, sustainability integration drivers like energy renewable sources, which we'll be considering, safety and security with like some kinds of fault tolerant systems, and consumer integrations enabling demand response and dynamic pricing. And consumer can see how many units of electricity or power he generated, and how can he plan it if it is shooting up or if whatever. And also there is a future vision, like energy user potentially generating solar or biofuel or wind energy, with grid synchronization, just not a passive energy consumer but active energy participants, because we know that lot of subsidies government is giving if like someone has want to install solar into on their house rooftops. So government is also encouraging this kind of initiatives where like lot of stress on the fossil fuels can be taken care. And then other aspect in the smart city is the healthcare system. So actually I was talking to somebody, and he said like whichever country we are in, like first thing we have to look at is like what is the healthcare systems available in that particular thing, right? So traditional healthcare, it struggles with population growth because such a large population, resources are limited. So how to handle that? Cities have too many people for available doctors and hospitals. We might have seen, like in some of the countries, you take an appointment and you get an appointment after a week, okay, especially in some parts of the Europe and other places. So which is like can be managed, okay, and you understand, like in a country like us, like so many people, how to develop these kind of smart healthcare systems which can respond with several components, like we have smart biosensors, wearable devices which enables continuous health monitoring. We have it like something in the finger rings or like some kinds of bracelets or something which wearable, people are tracking their vitals regularly, and which can give them hours of exercise, walk, steps, most of the smart watches also, and some kind of diet. And smart hospitals use ICT or cloud computing, smartphone apps, advanced data analysis. Like I have seen some apps from some hospital, so where like you have to register, and whenever there is some ID or something kind of thing, whenever you go to the hospital, your record is already there with us, like so it doesn't make them to ask or start from the scratch. So this is very time saving, and information is there with all of us. Doctors instantly can access this information of the patient, like his history or her history, across like multiple facilities, right? And telemedicine delivers healthcare remotely, which has been happened even during COVID time, and the patients in especially rural areas, they can also access some specialist in cities, like over video call. This is already government is doing in some parts of the country. And smart emergency response, which maintains real-time patient data, and that is accessible across emergency services, okay. So and which can include like real-time clinical decisions based on some data, whatever about the patient, which can reduce patient transfer time through pre-hospital information. So, and then it also improve that accessibility through telemedicine, and so that like there is a continuous monitoring, like some nowadays AI diagnosing some images, medical images, like some X-rays, if you feed it, like that will be AI diagnosis some information before going to the doctor or something like that. So and also these wearable devices like can give some symptoms of some heart problems or some issues in the healthcare. So smart healthcare, it doesn't replace doctors as such, but it empowers them with a better information and reach to people, and also it saves a lot of time. That was actually the thing in smart healthcare system. And the next one is the governance framework. If you see that smart governance, it addresses how cities decisions, okay, and they deliver services to the public. So making the right policy choices and also implementing them in an efficient and effective manner is something very, very crucial. So there are like 4 critical factors in this smart governance framework, so which includes like smart government with efficient administrative structure, like there should be decision making using some data analytics, and smart administration with electronic governance, like urban collaborations involving multiple stakeholders, and there is a participatory approach involves like government and local bodies, okay, so that is official institutions or whatever it is, or corporations and private sectors, NGOs, or any kind of civil societies, and of course the residents or the citizens. So this multi-stakeholder structure, it can contrast with traditional government, where that elected officials or some administration, they make the decisions, right? So this smart governance, it recognizes that government alone cannot solve urban problems. Okay, here I can give you an example. Indore has been coming up in the cleanest city for the, I think for the last 7 years continuously. So it cannot be possible just with a administrative policy or something like that. Actually the people have taken it very seriously, and they cooperated for that cause. So and together anything, it's not only government can some governance or like local administration can solve it, like it's actually participation, the more citizen participation. So we have to bring that mechanism, and it can come when there is like transparency and accountability is there, and also there is a integrated systems and the decisions. So the effect should be more affordable and accountable, transparent public services, Like I'll give you another example. Instead of visiting government office or waiting in a line or filling some form, if you use a smartphone app like we have in Indore city map, so you have an app to do all that, like you can pay your taxes, you can pay your charges, or you can complain if there is any service like water or any electricity services, or you want to renew some licenses, you can do that. So everything in one place, right? So which is really more effective in governance. So another thing is like e-governance features. So let's see what are the e-governance features which enable this digital service delivery. One is like online service delivery, like government services like to smartphones or digital devices, so which makes service accessible 24/7. So rather than like 9 to 5 kind of things. And then transparency, as I said, transparency and accountability, which open data about government decisions and of course the budgets, citizen feedback mechanism, and public audits, etc. And then citizen participation, it uses digital channels for civic engagement. So this is also very effective, I can say. And where like online consultations or participatory budgeting, digital town halls, etc. Integrated systems which connect different departments, so citizen problems aren't like passed between the department to department. It report potholes to wrong department, or it gets auto forwarded, or request building permit system automatically checks all the requirements, etc. So there are a lot of benefits which includes like accessibility, like anytime anywhere people can use that, and its efficiency because reduced bureaucracy, then transparency because you can see how things are going on, how things are working, and then there is a participation, you have a voice in your decisions also. So one example is like Pune example, it demonstrates this. There is smart governance include e-governance services like 911 service, emergency system, PAN city, Wi-Fi connectivity, and citizen can report complaints through an app and also track resolution progress, whatever happened or actions taken. So these are the potential concerns, like does digital governance exclude those without technology access, like or successful implementation address this by providing public access points or phone based alternatives. So that's one of the important point of discussions here. So as I said, like human element, like in smart cities, the most crucial realization, like you can see here, it is illogical to surround human beings with technology if they don't have how to use it. So here this highlights why smart cities are essential. Smart citizens, either educated or citizens has to be aware, like who are techno savvy or provide support in making smart cities. That's okay. Key characteristics include like we need to have education and awareness, and there should be a kind of technology proficiency, like they should be able to use the smart city services like apps and all, so that should be user friendly. Of course, civic engagement, like participation of the people in different for community development or improvement, etc. Adaptability, they should adapt to new practices or new things, and these are the some of the things like where educated or engaged citizens can guide this technology deployment towards a very genuine community benefit. So smart citizens are therefore like it's not like a luxury sort of thing, but it is very much like a necessity kind of thing. So let's come to the next one, like smart buildings and environment. Okay, so how can you say that a building is smart? Like because the features are like automated operations, including data networks, video surveillances, which are like very common in any of the urban cities now, and access control and power and lighting management, which are dynamically optimizes the energy consumption in a building, like after 6 o'clock, like lights get on in public areas, passages, staircases, etc., and it automatically off in the morning 6 a.m. or something like that, right? So these kind of things like IoT, integrating the sensors for making this efficiency more in terms of its operation, and then also the occupancy sensors, they can reduce energy where that room is empty or area is empty. Light sensors, they adjust the illumination also based upon the ambience, lighting. Temperature sensors, they optimize HVAC. Grid connectivity, it integrates the building with smart power grid. So buildings can shift energy consumption to peak renewable energy generation hours, and where buildings store energy during off peak times and then use later. So environmental components include like green spaces, like we have parks, urban forest, biodiversity conservation and all that, which provide recreation and something like for environmental services also. Then pollution control, air, water, noise, and monitoring and managing this urban environmental quality. And waste management, like with smart collection, like sensor trigger collection, when the bin is full. I have seen some startup like where they develop some smart dustbins, okay, something like that. So, and recycling programs like waste to energy systems, a lot of research people are working on that, and together like smart building and environmental components, they transform these urban areas from concrete jungles or into habitable and very healthy environment. Okay, that was actually the goal. So a city with smart buildings but with no green space, again it remain nothing sterile. So, and a city with a green space but intelligent buildings, it remains unsustainable. So there is a balance. Okay, so the balance is something very essential to consider.